Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the first ever Robbo's Godcast Sports Show live stream for you guys on the tubes. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are doing okay. We don't know how many of you are in, and actually, I can see it top corner, but we want us to welcome you all. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see it. Hopefully, maybe. I don't really know how this is going to go at all, as I really don't actually know how this is going, but we're just checking. I'm just going to make sure before we do anything that we actually are live. And I haven't messed up here at any point. Oh, yeah, we are live. We are here. Put in the chat, and I can see we are live. So we are watching, and people are here. Afternoon, David. Hope you're well. Hope you guys are welcome. We've got lots of conversation, lots of stuff to get through. At the end of the once we've gone through everything, we want to go bring it over to you guys. We want you guys to tell us any questions you've got for us, anything that you want us to discuss that we haven't gone through already. We're going to send it over to you. If there's any questions you've got for Mr. Friday, please put it across, and we will answer them as much as we possibly can for you all. And we will do as much as we can while we're here. But let's get into it all. And before we get into the majority of things that we're going to discuss, please welcome both of my goats. You are the goats. Ghosts, Mr. Ryan Fox and Mr. Courtney. How are you both?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very well.
Yeah, I'm
good. Ryan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. You?
Yeah, good. How was both your Christmases?
Yeah, it was good. It was obviously very different. But yeah, can't complain too much. Too much food, too much alcohol, and
no such thing.
Normality now.
Christmas is the one day that there's no such thing as too much food.
No, to be fair, I agree. This morning I sat and ate a whole, those chocolate coins that you get. I ate a whole bag of them this morning just because I don't know why. I just wanted to eat a whole chocolate coin. Right, let's get into the Reading FC chat, shall we? We've got some people here, some people going. So let's get into the conversation. So the first topic I've got that I want to discuss with both of you is the this, if it will work for me. There we go. The contract situation at the club. See how fancy this is. Anyway, I'm amazed by my talents. The contract situation at the club at the moment. So I'm going to list off the names of players who are out of contract this summer. And I want to see what both of you think will happen, who will leave and who will stay, and if there's anything that you would like to add to that, Mr. Friday, as well. So at the end of the season, at this precise moment, Omar Richards, Sam Walker, Luke Southwood, Michael Morrison, Tom McIntyre, Tene Watson, Ryan East, Sam Baldock, and Sonny Aluko are all out of contract this summer. What do you guys? It's for Mr. Friday. I'll start with you. What do you think? I've seen some people say that they've offered a contract. I saw a piece here that's from Paunovic where he turned around and said he's spoken to the senior board and he's definitely encouraged them to sign both Elise and Richards to be part of the long-term project. And he expects the club to be working towards putting together a proper contract offer for them. Is there any news, or is there anything that you can give us any updates on that? Is there anything you would like to say on it?
No news really. The Richards discussions have obviously been going on for a while. It started in the summer. Haven't been able to agree on a deal yet for whatever reason. And the same with Elise. As far as I'm aware, they haven't offered a contract as such. But discussions have been ongoing for a while, and yeah, Reading are keen to get them both tied down. They're both very valuable players, both in terms of valuable to the team and valuable financially. And the sooner we get to their contracts running out, obviously, footballers, they depreciate in value so quickly. So yeah, the club will be desperate to get them tied down, but it's very difficult, especially when Premier League teams start sniffing around and agents involved nowadays. And obviously the agents will be leading the discussions with the club. So it's worrying. It's definitely worrying. I think more so with Richards at the moment, at least. He's still got 18 months left. I know time is, still of essence, but Omar Richards with 6 months left to go. I mean, he is, as of next week, technically free to start speaking to other clubs, about a free transfer in the summer. So, yeah, I think that's the one that they need to prioritise.
Perfect. Ryan, if you, out of all that list that I read earlier on, Richards, Walker, Southwood, Morrison, McIntyre, Watson, East, Baldock, and Aluko, question for you is, who would you keep, and who, in your mind, who would you want to keep? Who do you think we're going to keep? And what do you think will happen?
Okay. Right, so keep Elise, Richards, Southwood. Not too sure about Walker. Don't think so. I think all the youngsters, keep them around because they're young, got potential. McIntyre definitely. Aluko, it's going to be controversial to some people, but I'd give him a new contract. Never thought I never thought I'd say.
Sorry, I forgot we're live.
Okay, why would you give him a contract? Because let's be honest, during his whole career at Reading, he hasn't lived up to the 7 million or whatever it potentially could be to what he was brought for, and he's only really come into it this season. Is it because you would only give him a contract because of this season? Why would you give him an extension to what he's on?
I think that's partially down to a bit of mismanagement as well. Because I think first season when we signed him under Stam, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I think when he first joined, he wasn't. He did show he had something to him, and he's shown that again under Paunovic. Obviously, he was frozen out a bit in the middle. A loan move to China, and I didn't say it, but obviously, I think part of the contract extension would be try and reduce his wages a bit. I know it's not easier said than done, but the option should be take a pay cut or go somewhere else.
So this is an interesting comment I've got here from Joe Gasper. I'm going to see if I can get it up on the screen for everyone to see. Good question. Is it maybe another Blackett situation where he didn't really perform beforehand? Then the season where his contract runs out, he now starts performing. Is it another situation, or is it what you just said, a mismanagement of what he's been doing the whole time?
I wouldn't call it a Blackman situation. I think it's Blackett. I say it's more like Blackman. Obviously, when he joined, when Blackman was in the last year of his contract, we saw the best 6 months of his whole Reading career. But with Blackman again, there was glimpses before that he had that. Like I remember he scored 25-yard screamer against Swansea in a pre-season friendly. He always had the ability, whereas Blackett, I don't think really had the ability.
This is a good question. Mr. Friday, I'm going to ask you.
Comes in January with £4 million for Shawnee Aluko. I can promise you that Reading would not. I really can't see it happening.
So this is a good question. I'll ask you both. From William, he said nobody else would want him on his wage. Do you think he would sign a contract with Reading if they offered it with any money because no one would offer him the amount that he was on before, or do you think he's just not going to accept a certain amount and try his luck somewhere abroad, maybe?
I mean, I've only ever spoken to him once or twice, but I can't imagine his relationship with Reading is the best in terms of he doesn't really have a great rapport with the fans. He's had a real turgid 4 years at the club, bar, 1 or 2 odd spells here and there. So if he had offers elsewhere, I can't see why unless it's a family thing. But I think he lives in London. So yeah, it could come down to relocation. But saying that, he went to China last year, so he's obviously not that fussed about living close to London. So no, I can't see it happening. I think this will be the last we see of Shoni Aluko this season. But he is playing. I'll give you that.
He is playing well this year. Let's go on to Elise at the moment. So there's multiple reports gone round in the past few weeks that apparently in his contract there is a £8 million release clause, according to the Athletic UK magazine. There's also people saying that there isn't. There is. Do you know? Is there anything you can update us on whether he has or he isn't?
No, no.
What's up?
Not to my knowledge at all. I don't subscribe to the Athletic, and I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw it. I certainly know nothing of an £8 million release clause.
They got that information from Football Manager.
Ah, there we go.
If you go on Football Manager, it's got a release clause.
No, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you for definite, but as far as I'm aware, it's not true. There isn't an £8 million release clause in his contract. I can imagine the meltdown if there was, because someone would be getting a bargain. But no, Reading, from what I've been told, are holding out for a much higher fee than £8 million. So no, I don't think it's true.
Perfect. Going on from that £8 million release clause, just saying what Paunovic has come out and said. He goes, no, not at all. But the important thing is Michael has found a place where he is being protected, supporting and playing games more than ever. According to some sources as well, a plus from all the other clubs that are Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leipzig, AC Milan have apparently come in and reported interest from an Italian magazine. Is there any more news you can give us on the Elise situation? Is he going to be signing a new contract? Is he going to be leaving in January? Is there any updates that you've heard of that you can think of?
I think some of those clubs you've been mentioned have just been picked out of the bag there. I certainly haven't heard of half of those clubs being interested. Leeds obviously have been widely reported for a long time. I think I said the other week Crystal Palace as well, another one that have been looking at him. No news. Obviously, the club really want to keep him. They see him as an investment both on and off the pitch. But it's going to be very difficult, and I think they know that as well.
Perfect. Right. I'm going to go to Ryan on this question first, and then I'll go to Mr. Friday. We're going to keep on the Elise because I haven't made a banner for this one, because maybe I've forgotten the part of this bit. I knew I'll fuck up at some point on this. John Swift, he finally made his return. As soon as he come back, there has been a report that Leeds United boss Marcel Bielsa really wants to sign him in January, although it remains likely that there will be any move from the club to try and sign him. You got Ryan, do you think he's been linked with Leeds I think now for about a year or so, maybe when they were in the Championship? Yeah. We all know that he's one of Dye's lucky eggs or lucky whatever it is that he has at this club. Is John Swift going to leave? Do you think he'll leave, or do you think he's going to stay here and play under Paunovic?
First of all, I will do it from the Leeds perspective. I think it would be silly for them to buy him now with his injury record and him only just returning from injury.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, they might as well leave it till the summer. Let him have some first-team football, get up to match fitness, because, let's be honest, he's not going to get in the Leeds team. From our perspective, I don't think he'll be going.
Mr. Friday, is there anything that you know? Is this report true? Are Leeds in contact with Reading? What is your thinking with the situation?
First I heard of it was about 20 seconds ago when you said it. I think if the club were going to sell him, they would have sold him in the summer. Sheffield United were really keen to do a deal in the summer, and obviously that didn't come off. Again, I really can't see it. He's under contract. The club aren't under any pressure to sell. As shown in the summer, then they're not going to sell for under what they consider to be his value. So if they came in with the bids, I think it would have to be quite a big one to tempt Reading to sell him.
Yeah.
And Swifty coming back is a huge boost. That's something they've missed him this season. They've missed his creativity. Said it so many times. As much as I really like that partnership between Rinomhota and Laurent, sometimes they lack that pass and they lack that vision. And having a player like Swift around gives you that option. So, yeah, I think it would be foolish for Reading to sell unless it was an extremely tempting offer.
Okay, so Ryan, I'm going to go and ask you this question. There is a debate in the at the moment about this, and I know that you're quite you're a bit like me. Just say how you feel. This is one of the things that has come in. There's a debate between two people. This person, Joe, does not want to keep Elise as he thinks he has an attitude problem, and we need the money to push forward. I know that you're very vocal on this one, so I'm going to leave this over to you.
Okay. The attitude problem is the biggest load of bollocks I have ever heard. Where has that come from? Where have you seen from the 90 minutes a week that you watch him that he's got an attitude? Because he got subbed off against
I'm
Birmingham.
going to stop you there. This is what he's saying. So I'm going to show you the two comments he's put in. He's got an attitude when he was taken off against Norwich. He was in the right mood. And the other one was he also put this. He has an attitude if he doesn't play. He doesn't have the determination to win the ball back sometimes either, or two. And then Charlie's made a great comment. I think this is proper that. Ryan's human. So go away. What do you think? Do you think I'm in two minds with Joe? I think he's right, and I think he's wrong. I think I think Elise wants to play all the time, and when he doesn't, he sort of gets a bit of an irate about it. He didn't celebrate against QPR, but nor does Ejaria as well. When he scores, he just goes, yeah, as well. What do you think about this situation?
Postman doesn't cheer when he delivers a letter.
Yeah, but that's a different situation than football, though, isn't it?
No, I know.
Let's be honest. The postman doesn't get paid £170,000 a week to run around on a pitch.
Neither does he.
No, I know he doesn't, but if people don't, if the footballers get paid 30 times what postmen do, that's what I'm trying to say. And he also does a post when he delivers.
So I'm going back to what you said about the attitude thing. I'm going to say what I know as well, because when he was subbed off against Birmingham, I did watch him go up and I saw him kick the concourse out of frustration. I said, there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, he didn't have the best game. Maybe he's frustrated it himself and taken a bit of that frustration out. Like, we've all been it. Like, have you ever walked past the door and sort of been pissed off and punched or kicked the door?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of principle. Maybe he's frustrated about coming off because at the end of the day, at the time, he was 18. When you're 18, you want to play as much football as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be pissed off sitting there and watching. Norwich, I can't really say much because I didn't see, but I imagine it's kind of similar principle.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the thing in the comments was, I see they're still debating. It says, I understand he wants to play all the time, but he's only 19 and he won't get that opportunity to play all the time. He needs to learn. Davis, but he's young and wants to play on a regular basis. Getting moody, to be honest, is a good thing. It's a bit of passion that he wants to play. Exactly. And William has put, he seems to be using his annoyed in a positive way, like he did against QPR and Millwall. I think good debate, good conversation, but we got to move on. You guys keep having a chat. We will carry on with those conversations. There are two. Yeah, go on, carry on.
I'll just say with the QPR goal, I don't care if he doesn't celebrate. If he turns around does something like that, I think it's a turnaround to be like, look what I could do. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a bit of arrogance, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, no one complained when Cantona did it. Jesus, who cares?
No.
Ball went in the back of the net. Oh, it's up to him. If he doesn't want to celebrate, it's fine. He doesn't have to. There's no rules. You don't you don't have to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got Courtney. I'm going to ask you both of these questions, and then Ryan, because I know how much you talk about this already. So I'm going to ask you. Reading are linked with 2 players. Bruno Tavares. He's 18, right winger. He currently plays for Sporting B. His career stats out there so far. He's played with them 32 times. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists. We're also linked with Gangelo Ramos, who's being monitored by Reading at the moment. He's 19. He's a striker or second striker. He currently plays for Benfica, I think for the B or the normal, but his current stats for the Benfica B is he has played 53 games, scored 26, and has got 10 goals at the age of 19 for Benfica B. That's actually quite really good stats. Do we know if any of this is... Have you heard any more about this? Is there any other potential signings we could be making? There's a question in the comments, and I've seen your comment, Adam. I will put that up after this, and then we will move on to the game. What do you think about 2 of these signings?
It was 2 players that they looked at in the summer. Kind of feels again like it's going to be another transfer window where Reading are linked with anyone that's under the age of 20 in Portuguese. But obviously, that's where they've focused their scouting network for whatever reason. They've got some good links in Portugal. A certain super agent has got a lot to do with that. He won't mention his name because he's got nothing to do with the club. I don't know anything other than it's two players that they looked at in the summer, and it's quite possible that they could renew their interest. I think for me, I might upset a few people for saying this, but if you look at Thomas Estevez, he's a promising young player, but hasn't really done the business. I don't think Reading need more youngsters. I think they have youngsters. They have their own youngsters coming through. I think what that squad really needs at the moment is experience. They need more people like Michael Morrison, people who have been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt. I think, obviously, younger players will be more of a long-term investment, but if you're looking at short-term success and trying to finish as high up in the league as possible, I think you need some real, Championship, Premier League experienced players to come in and help the young players that they have already. So if it was my decision, that's what I'd be looking at in the transfer window, not the names that have been reported so far.
So this is a question I want to ask you both. I'm going to go to Ryan first. It's what Adam has just put on the comments. If you could choose one thing to happen out of the next following month, getting Richards to sign a new contract due to his value, or making a few signings, what would you choose?
I think myself, I would go for a few signings.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's one of those situations where usually you'd say quality over quantity, but Reading have been so short in recent weeks with the injury situation, especially. You've got players playing out of position. I saw Alfred Semedo was a false 9 at one point when he's a CDM. So yeah, for me, it would have to be making a few signings, because you do have to, although the future is important, also you do need to protect the short-term future, and Reading do want to finish as high up as they can. There's pressure on the management from the owners to finish in at least in the top 6. Ideally, they want the top 2. So yeah, I think if I could choose between 3 decent players or 1 Omar Richards, yeah, I think it would be 3 decent players.
Do you think we'll sell him in January, or do you think we're going to lose him on a free in the summer?
I don't know. Reading they're not desperate for money. So I would be more inclined to say, if he isn't going to sign a new deal, then he'll play until the summer. Hopefully by that time, the best scenario would be that Reading go up, and I know Richards signs a new deal. But no, I don't think they'll sell him in January, because realistically, what are they going to get from him? At $1 million, maybe $2 million if they're really lucky. With his contract up in 6 months, his value is going to be so low compared to what his actual value is. I think it'd be really stupid to sell him, because if they sold him, they'd have to replace him, and they're not going to replace his quality for the amount of money that they'll receive for him. So I don't see any logic in selling him now.
You could also
right.
say
Before, go on.
Sorry, you could also say you'd get the best 6 months out of him because he's putting himself on the market.
Yes, and I'm not saying Omar Richards has this in his character at all, but you do sometimes see players when they're out of contracts, they're looking to find a new club, all of a sudden not throw themselves into a challenge because they think, well, if I throw myself in and I do my ACL, that's me not getting paid for another 18 months. So, yeah, I think that you're right in a way, but I think that can go both ways. Hopefully with Richards, it would be the former, that he'd give 100%, and I'm sure he would. But I think you have seen it in the past where players maybe haven't given it their all because of contracts. So, yes, that's a tough one.
This is a good question. If he had a 2-3 years contract left before we move on, what do you think his actual value is?
In today's market, 9, 10, maybe. I wouldn't say more than 10, personally.
I think that's very. I think that could vary a lot depending on how long he's got left on his contract. Because if he had 4 years left, I'd say it's upwards of 10, pushing 12. Whereas if he had 2 years left, I'd say sort of 7.5, 8 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I think around about the 10 mark. Depending on how long he has on his deal. He's so young. What is he? 22, isn't he? 23? Google it now.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know how old he is. 22. Right, first time.
Yeah. We'll ask that question at the end, Adam, because I think that's a really good question. But before we go to the Luton game, just a little bit of the latest about this podcast. While we've got everyone here and we move on to the Luton situation, I thought it was a good time to round everybody up about what we do and what we're going to be doing in the future. As we all know, we're doing 5 days a week worth of content. This week, we're only doing 4 due to the sad passing of Brodie Lee, former WWE Luke Harper, who passed away Boxing Day, Christmas Day. We will not be doing a wrestling podcast out of that. It's taken a little bit of everyone by a bit of a hit. So we will not be doing any content with that this week, but we will be back next week to do a little bit more. We carry on doing Formula One on Wednesday, where we have 2 new people joining the podcast. We've got Connor Rose and we've got Grace, the first woman to ever come on this podcast. She will be a regular, coming on weekly, talking all things Formula One. And we will be doing our awards show this week. Thursday, we will be doing a roundup of the NFL and having a chat on that. You can go and check all the videos in our YouTube channel and SoundCloud and everywhere else as well, where you can get up to date of everything we do. And then on Fridays, we will be back with Ryan and Josh, where we will be discussing all things the Swansea game and the build-up to the weekend's action, who I can't remember who we're playing. Huddersfield, isn't it?
Huddersfield, yeah.
Yeah, Huddersfield. I remember. Where we will be building up to the Huddersfield game coming up as well, and doing that as well. So let's get into. You can go and check all of that out on our YouTube channel, where you guys are now at, and you'll be able to listen to it if you want to listen to it on a podcast, on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else. I can't think of anything else. So let's get into the Luton game. So let's talk about the previous meetings. The previous 5 meetings between Reading and Luton. In the 2021 season, the beginning of this season in the Carabao Cup, we lost 1-0. Before that, we beat them 5-0. Then we beat them 3-0. We then beat them 5-1. And then before that, we lost 3-2. The lineup for the game was Raphael, McIntyre, Morrison, Estevez, Holmes, with Rinomhota, Lauren, Aluko, Ijaria, Semedo, and Baldock. On the bench was Tanae Watson, Luke Southwood, Bristow, Dorset, East, Onion, whatever his name is, Swift, Melvin Lambert, and Olise. What did you guys make? Courtney, I'll go to you first. What did you make of the starting lineup? There was a big hoo-ha over on the Twitter about Elise being dropped after a week of practicing. What did you make of that, and what did you make of the starting 11?
I think much like those on Twitter, I was slightly confused by his omission. I think he's obviously shown lately his quality. At the same time, I don't want to say that Reading disrespected Luton, but I think perhaps there was a bit of confidence from Paunovic that his players would have enough and that he could give Elise a rest, which is well within his rights to do. I think, again, it's one of those where had they got beat, there would have been a big backlash of it. But because they got the win in the end reasonably comfortably, barring the last 15 minutes, then you can't really argue with his decision.
So we went 1-0 up, Ryan, after 9 minutes from one of our own, Mr. McIntyre, getting his first ever professional goal, not only for Reading, but in his career, which for me would have been excellent to have it in front of a crowd. Imagine the reaction. I think there would have been a bigger cheer than anyone if people were allowed in to watch that. What did you think of that goal, and what did you think of the starting lineup?
Lineup as well. Kind of echoing what Courtney said, pretty much. One thing that I did see a lot of on Twitter, people saying that we're again disrespecting Luton. And people said we should have played a stronger team and just write off Swansea. And I think that's just a ridiculously stupid thing to do. When, let's look at league table now. I think we're 2 or 3 points behind Swansea. I think if we beat them on Wednesday, we can close the gap or even go above them. I don't think you should approach any game and just accept defeat. That's a ridiculously stupid thing to do. So for that, I think resting Elise was the right thing to do. Again, it shows he's got confidence in the players we have available to him, because very well, considering we had four centre backs in defence. The amount of players we had out.
We also had three out of the four centre backs were all called Tom. I thought that was pretty good. Question I have for you both is with the McIntyre goal. He did say, I think it was on a live stream after the game on his Twitch stream, that he said that that was a routine worked on the training ground. It was a superb goal, though, wasn't it?
Oh, the finish was brilliant. It was a striker's finish. I think Lucas Shaw would have been happy with it. He caught it so well, and the fact that I didn't know that he said it was a training ground routine, but that means that he meant it, and he wasn't trying to just steer it, across the face of goal or whatever. It was a great finish, brilliant finish.
I went back and looked at the live stream after to see what he actually said. He said they were working on corners in training. The first one come in, it come to him, and he headed it over the bar. And then the second one come in, he got a touch onto it, straight to Morrison at the back post, who headed it in. So they stopped and was like, right, let's work on this, develop it. He said they only done it sort of 3 or 4 times in training, and then it worked first time in the match.
Excellent. It was an assist by Luco, who took the corner, add another tally to his name, and then
sign him up.
Yeah, give him a 5-year deal. And then on 41st minute into the game, Baldock got an assist. The first contribution to a goal Baldock has done in 11 matches for Semedo to go through on goal and score. That was a brilliant finish, even by a CDM, wasn't it?
It was a good finish, and fair play to Sam Baldock. It was a good ball as well. It was really good awareness. Those stats are quite worrying for a striker. But no, fair play. He got it right that time, and really calm and composed finish. An important point in the game as well, because you felt like if Reading could get that second goal, they would be in control. Which is exactly what happened. Well, at least for the next sort of 30 minutes.
Ryan.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was a great finish from Semedo. A great assist from Baldock. It almost reminds me, obviously nowhere near as good, but Meite's goal against Bristol City. Just inch perfect pass and great finish to slide past the keeper.
Yeah, and then after that, they scored with another mistake from Raphael. There's a question here that I want to ask the both of you. It's from Josh, and he said this. After that mistake, which, to be fair, was easy. Oh, no, not Mark trying to replace me. It's the other one. I'm trying to replace him as well. His thoughts on the your thoughts on the Southwood situation. Do you think he will start against Swansea? Do you think Raphael will keep his place after? There's no point around it. He's made 5 or 6 mistakes now this season. We still went on to win the game, but he seems to be becoming a bit mistakey. Is that even a word? This season, what would you do? Would you drop him?
I would. Yeah, personally, I would. I don't think Paunovic will. I think that's a big game to throw Luke Southwood into. But yeah, these mistakes keep happening, and I do sometimes feel that goalkeepers, especially, I think footballers do it in general, but you especially see it from goalkeepers, that they almost see themselves as undroppable. That it doesn't matter what happens. I'm the first team goalkeeper. I'm going to get picked. So yeah, if it was me, I would drop him and make a statement.
So after that game, Paunovic come out and talked about McIntyre. And he said, Tom is a child of the club. He spent his whole career here, and today was a special moment for him. I'm very happy for his goal, but I'm also very happy that he adapted very well to playing in a new position, and he was excellent. Now, let's talk about that. He's gone from a centre-back to a striker to a cam to a midfielder to now playing left-back. He's now also at the same time Tom Holmes, who has been playing right back for the whole of his Reading career, having to learn a new position, slotted in against with Morrison in that game, and Estevez come in at right back, and I didn't see any negative opinions about him after this game. What are you making? I think it's a bit like the Liverpool situation, isn't it? Don't have proper centre-backs, try and adapt to some of the players you've got to put them in that position. Not that you like that analogy, Mr. Friday, but But what are we thinking? How did Tom play? Because in that game, he had 10 aerial duels and he won all 10 of them in that game. He might have very closely nearly gave away a penalty, but we'll brush over that really quickly. But what did you guys make of it?
I think him and Tom Holmes and Tom McIntyre, the two Toms. I think they are the defensive future of the club. I think that is your centre back partnership in the making in time. For now, they've obviously got to adapt because they're not as good as Moore and Morrison. But they both adapted really well. Holmes has slotted into that right back position fantastically, and yeah, Tom McIntyre's turned into the Berkshire Pirlo when required. But they're showing their versatility, and they're showing their will to fight and to play for the first team. So yeah, he did really well, left-footed. So obviously that helps going into the wing-back position. But yeah, it's a really difficult position to play. I think the only issue would be obviously his pace. I think to be a fullback, especially an attacking fullback, you need to be quite fast. I'm not saying he's slow by any means, but he is a centre back at the end of the day. I certainly felt a lot more confident with him playing there than I did with Gibson the week before. Mm-hmm. I felt he just looked a lot more natural. So yeah, I mean, for us, hopefully Richards will be out soon, but I think McIntyre can fill the void until he gets back.
Ryan, what did you make of the back four, how they played, and what are you making of Reading's? I see a comment on here saying Williams put in a strange way that the injuries have helped us as we've needed to play more youngsters to try and get them more game time, and we're starting to play them now. What are you thinking of McIntyre? How well did he play, and how well do you think Reading are doing?
It's definitely man of the match for me. As for how the back four as a whole played, I think it was pretty much faultless. Like even their goal, there's not really much the defence could have done about it. And yeah, I completely agree with what Courtney said. It is like the future looks good for Reading defensively as well. Not to mention, like, not just Holmes and McIntyre. You've got other defenders coming through: Dorset, Nelson Abbey, Ethan Bristow, amongst others that will be on the scene and will get the opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you. A quick question here. This is for Ryan. That has been put in the chat. This is basically for you. Gareth has put Ryan is growing hair to make him look like a John Swift stunt double. I saw Gareth and I thought I have to put. Right. I want to get your take on Paunovic. Paunovic has now won the more home matches than each of Reading's past three managers with 7. Reading are now unbeaten in their last 9 home matches on Boxing Day, a run stretching 17 years, won 6 and drawn 3. What have you guys made? Let's discuss. We all thought Paunovic was going to come in, and it was a very weird decision to make at the time. But is he? The Chicago Fire were saying that he's not a great manager. He did this and did that. It's something about soup. I saw at one point as well, talking about soup. What have you guys made of Paunovic this from now to here? He's definitely won me over to a point where I think I'm beginning to love the man. But what have you both made of him so far?
I mean, what can you say?
I'm going to go back to...
No, you carry on.
Sorry. Okay, I was going to say, I'm going to go back to what I saw a couple of Chicago Fire fans saying about he likes to chop and change, doesn't like to stick to things. Obviously, we've seen that a little bit, but I don't think it's a bad thing because it's showing that we have versatile players. Just going back to what you said a minute ago about Tom McIntyre, how many different positions has he played this season? Not only
he's played about 5, I think.
Yeah, not only that, he's done it comfortably. Let's say the goal against QPR, the backhand assist, the goal on Saturday, wasn't it? What a finish! We're also seeing like players playing out of their natural position, but if I wasn't a Reading fan watching that, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Perfect. Right. Let's go on to this then. The Swansea game. This is the history. Let's go through it before we get into it. Reading have beat Swansea 33 times. We've drawn 15 times and lost 33. The previous fixtures we played is we lost 2-0, lost 2-0, lost 4-1, drawn 1-1, lost 4-1. So an amazing record we've got recently over Swansea at the moment. Jesus, I didn't realise it was that bad until I did it. Steve Cook, who is the manager of Swansea's record against Reading, he's played us twice, won one and drawn once, never lost against Reading. Swansea's current form is they beat QPR 2-0, beat Barnsley, they lost to Derby, beat Cardiff, drew against Bournemouth, beat Luton 2-0 and lost to Middlesbrough. How do you think this game's going to go? Mr. Friday, I'll go to you first. How do you think this game's going to go? Do you think this is Elise going to come in? Is this going to be more expansive football? Or are we going to be doing what we did at the start of the season and use that counter-attack and bring Jow, I think is being talked about, coming back in, and I've also seen that Richards could be available for this match as well, by what Paunovic has said. What are you thinking? What could happen in this match?
I think it'd be a very interesting conversation if Elise didn't come back in.
It could be fun. The meltdown could be fun on Twitter.
They're going to need him. That's the creativity. Obviously they're an informed team. One of the stronger sides in the division. It's going to be a hard game. I think if I was to put a bet on it, I'd maybe go for a 1-1. But yeah, it's going to be tough.
Ryan, how do you think this game's going to go?
I think it could be. I think it could go either way, to be honest. I think the way we need to approach it is I think we need pacey fullbacks to counter Jamal Lowe, one of their very, very dangerous players. I think we'll have enough to cope with Ayew, limit his opportunities. But yeah, I think Jamal Lowe is probably their biggest threat. And as long as we can keep him quiet, I think we'll be okay.
Perfect. During the predictions that we did beforehand, this was quite funny, to be honest. During the predictions we had, I said 1-1, so I'm going to stick with Courtney on this one. Adam, who's Mr. Negativity, went for a 2-0 loss. Ryan went for a 2-0 win. And Josh also went for a 1-1 draw. So do you stick by what you said, Ryan, and sticking with 2-0?
I'd never change my mind.
To be fair, you don't. So yeah. So going on from that, we're going to ask people now if you guys have any questions, what you guys think. If there's anything that we haven't discussed, if there's anything you guys want to ask Ryan or Courtney or myself, then we will do it. This is another one. Go on.
I was going to ask both of you, say we had everybody at the club fully fit now, what is our best 11?
That is a question.
Jesus Christ.
That goes to the chat as well if anyone wants to put their input in.
The best 11 on form or on overall ability?
Okay, I'll say we're playing Swansea on Wednesday. If we had everybody available how they're playing at the moment, or how they most recently played, who would you pick to start?
Okay. Right, I'm ready.
I'm not. I'm still trying to think.
Everybody's available.
Everybody's available and match fit.
Okay. Southwood, Yeardom, Moore, Morrison, Richards, Rinomota, Laurent, Mate, Elise. This is where it gets difficult because I don't think Ajari has played that well recently. I'd be tempted to put Swift in and have Elise on the left and Swift as the number 10. I think I'm going to do it. Yeah. So Mate on the right, Elise as the number 10. Swift as the number 10, Elise on the left, Zhao up front.
All right, so I'm going to go with Raphael in goal.
Turncoat.
Well, yeah, I know. So I'm going to go with him just because I think what he's done has stuck us in taken us out of so many situations that I think he deserved it. Yeardom or Holmes? Yeardom, I'm going to go with Yeardom. Morrison, Moore, Richards, and then Reno, Laurent, Elise, Swift, Ijaria, and then Zhao up top. The only reason I would drop Mate is because I think the skill of the front three would be excellent for the first half, but when you need someone in the final 10 minutes to come on and bulldoze defenders when they're tired and get that late finish, or someone who's confident to be one-on-one in the end, then I would bring Mate on. That's why I would. That's who I think. We've got some questions in as well for both of you. This is from Adam from earlier, who was asking something else completely different. Who will be the next young player to break through the ranks after the emergence of Holmes this season?
Ooh.
Who do I think it will be? Who do I want it to be? Because there's a couple of young players that I would like to see breaking into the first team this season. I'd like to see McGiff get a chance at some point this season, even in
I've heard about
the cup game Luton coming up. Melvin Lambert, Thierry Nevers.
What's happened with him? He's disappeared.
That was mine.
He was
injured.
I think he got injured and wasn't quite fit for the cup earlier in the season.
Right, let's go through. Some of the people that we spoke about just then have put comments in about who they think. So David Andrews said the fit starting 11 he thinks could be this. Raphael, Yeardom, Morrison. So but what I went for. William went for this.
That's exactly what I knew. But
I'll tell you what, Zhao, Ajari, Elise, Mate, Laurent,
exactly
Reno. Boyce Clark. That's a shout. Haven't seen him yet. Could be the future. We've got someone here. Josh has put Southwood, Yeardom, Moore, Morrison, Richard, Laurent, Reno, Ovi, Elise, Yak, and Zhao. Adam always has to do what Adam wants to do and do the subs as well, because it's Adam for you. He's gone with Raphael, Richard, Moore, Morrison, Yeardom, Reno, Laurent, Elise, Swift, Mate, Zhao. I just want to put this in because someone said I'm right. Gareth, I love you too. He also, so the youngsters, Adam has come with he thinks it's going to be Bristow or Tetic. He thinks it could be the Onion Man. Josh has put a beautiful comment just for Ryan. It doesn't count as 23. Get over it. And someone else has put this as well. That is scored a beautiful goal, if I'm right, against West Brom. I think I saw, which was going on from there as well. So, yeah, keep your questions coming in. If there's any more questions you'd like to ask us, there's someone that put in there as well that I saw that says, if you had the choice, I can't remember where I saw it. Let me just go back and have a look. Where is it?
For my team, I'm completely agreeing with David, but rather than wingers, I play three sort of more central and have Elise, Swift, Ajaria as the front three.
Someone put as well a comment, or someone said, would you go out and buy a goalkeeper? With the situation at the moment with Raphael, would you go and buy a goalkeeper in January?
No, I don't think they need a goalkeeper. No. They just need their goalkeeper to sort his act out. And they have Southwood, who, from obviously we haven't seen him in a Reading shirt much, but all the whispers out of the club is that he's a very good goalkeeper. He's a very talented young goalkeeper. So no, I don't think it's a case that they need to go out and sign someone. I just think they need to, deal with whatever the issues are with Raphael at the moment. But no, they have goalkeepers, so I don't think they need to go out and get another one. I think there are other positions they need to strengthen more than they do the goalkeeping department. That would be my opinion anyway.
Who was it that was our goalkeeper coach that when he left said one position that Reading won't need to worry about for the next 15 years is goalkeeper?
Sal Bibbo, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think I remember his name. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Sal Bibbo.
Any possible transfer targets, rumours, or anything, Mr. Friday, you've heard about, or anything that maybe can excite Reading fans? Anything you've heard of?
Nothing majorly exciting, I'm afraid. Obviously, they've been linked with these Portuguese lads that they were linked with last year, but no, nothing new that I'm aware of. But I'm sure that will change. January's a weird transfer window. It's all very quiet, and then things happen really quickly. So I'm sure there'll be something to tickle everyone's juices in the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do two or three more questions that come in, and then that will be the end. Where will Reading be at the end of 2021, this time next year? Where do you both think we will be?
I'm just going to say 4, and you can take that what you want.
I think without investment in the squad in January, they will come short of the playoffs. I think they just lack that bit of experience. I think the next month is key for them. And if they get to the playoffs, well, we all know what happens when Reading play in the playoffs. So, yeah, for me, I think upper mid-table championship.
Ryan?
I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I really hope I'm wrong. But yeah, if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say upper mid-table championship.
So I think we will be. I don't think we'll go up this year. I think we need to concentrate on depth. That when we do go for a push, if we get a couple of injuries, we don't have to worry. We can bring someone in with maybe the same quality or maybe a little bit less, but we'll be able to slot in that gap. I think depth, but not doing what we've done over the years where we just bring in a shit ton of players and then put them in the reserves and just never play them, and then we all grow to hate them. That's the one thing I hope we don't do in there as well. So I'm going to say top 4 championship, I think.
Yeah, that's
Ryan,
what I would say as well.
I'm going to ask you this question that's about to come up. Where would you play Swift? Would you play him alongside Reno and Laurent? Would you play him like Mr. Friday said in the 10? Would you play him instead of Vijaria? Where do you think the best is for him?
Well, I always say I think he's the most like-for-like player to Elise. So I think when we want to rotate them, I think they just directly swap out. I don't think they play in a team together.
Okay. That's what I can see here. Someone's put put him as a number 10. Someone's talking about where we will be, and with Mr. Friday saying about playoffs. Charlie's put we will be crying over losing on pens in the playoff again, most probably. And Adam has put this. This is for Swift, allowed to play 10 to allow Reno and Laurent to continue in the DM roles. So yeah, right. That is going to be the end of the stream. This is the first one we've ever done. Thank you guys ever so much for coming along, interacting, asking all of the questions. I didn't know how this would go. This went a lot better than I ever expected whatsoever. I was worried about how many people would turn up, but we've had quite a number that I thought, a lot more than what I thought anyway. We know some of you like to listen to it a lot more than come along. So, but this is a massive thank you to everyone that's followed us from the beginning. This is only the start of stuff that we're going to do in 2020, and 2021 is going to be a very big year for us. And we're going to be we might do some more live streams. I don't know how these two feel. I know Courtney swears a lot during it, so I have to edit a lot of it out. But we will see what we do with these live streams, what we're going moving forward. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you ever so much. Good stream, lads, from Charlie. Thank you ever so much, Anne. Well done, mate. Good job. Adam, RIP, Insta Lives. We will get back to Insta Lives. There's just been a few stuff going on that I've been unable to do. But we will get back to Insta Lives. You will come back on and do your rants, or as Ryan likes to call it, rants.
Rants.
I still haven't laughed much.
During the show, everyone can see and hear you. It's a good job I knew that.
Oh dear, but thank you guys ever so much for joining. Don't forget to go check this out. This will be up in the playlist in the Reading FC podcast. If you've just joined halfway through, you can come and catch up with it. We've all done all the questions. Don't forget to go and follow us as well. The links are all down below as well in the description of the YouTube video, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
See ya.
How do I end this? This is going to be a fun ending.